have a question for you, and I want you to give me your real answer, not the managed one. When was the last time you sat in complete silence with nothing in your hands, nothing in your ears, nowhere you were supposed to be, and you stayed there for longer than 3 minutes? Not waiting for something, not transitioning between tasks, not using the quiet to think through a problem. You were just still. Take a moment without question. If you had to think hard to find the answer, that is the first data point. Here's the second one. A 2023 Microsoft Work Trend Index found that 62% of people say they struggle to disconnect from work even during personal time. But here's what that study did not name. Among high-achieving women specifically, the inability to disconnect is even rarely about the job. It's first about identity. Because when your sense of self is built around production, stillness does not even feel like rest. It actually feels like loss. And because of that, you stay moving. And you are here calling it drive. You call it discipline. You call it faithfulness to the assignment. And every one of those names is at least partially true, but none of them is precise. This is episode 4 of the Shift 9, and today we are naming the rhythm fracture. Welcome to the Shift Conversation. I am Oluseyi Ashiru, registered therapist, certified executive leadership coach, founder of Shift into Legacy. This is the Shift 9. 9 episodes, 9 fracture points, each one taken all the way through the signature, the cost, the ceiling, and the path to close it. We are now 4 episodes into the Shift 9, and episode 1, we looked at the identity fracture, the woman who performs herself. In episode 2, we looked at the purpose fracture, the brilliant executor. Episode 3 covered the capacity fracture, the woman who is depleted from the wrong work. And today is episode 4. We are looking at the rhythm fracture. And the title of this episode is 4 words. She cannot be still. If you felt something shift in your chest when I said that, this is for you. So I want you to stay with me, because we're going to be chatting about why you find it hard to be still. Debbie came to me wondering why she was always tired, and even though she had free time, she found it hard to rest. I will tell you what I said to her, because what she was describing looked like the rhythm fracture. And before I name the 4 signature markers, I want to define what the rhythm fracture is exactly. Because women like Debbie carry this fracture, but they give it a different name. They've called it drive, ambition, commitment, faithfulness. Some of them have even called it anointing. And believe me, none of those names are wrong, but none of them is precise. Because the rhythm fracture is this: the inability to access genuine rest. Note that it is not the absence of time off. It's not the absence of vacation. It's not the absence of some Sabbath practice on paper. It is the inability to actually rest, to actually stop and to feel the stopping. The inability to be still without the stillness, immediately filling with the next thing, the next worry, the next plan, the next version of busy. And so women like Debbie don't rest. They just do a different kind of work. And women like her have been calling that work restoration. The rhythm fracture is the gap between motion and restoration. And this woman has been confusing the two. And that confusion has been costing her in ways that she has not even given herself time to count. So how can you identify the rhythm fracture? There are 4 signature markers of the rhythm fracture. These are not a checklist, they're just a mirror. And I want you to listen as I share them and notice where you start to feel some recognition in your heart. Notice where you feel some resistance, because both responses will matter for you. Signature marker 1. She calls her pace discipline. She has not genuinely rested in years. She's been productive for such a long time that she has started to confuse productivity with health. This woman has schedules, rhythms, routines, early mornings, late nights. Her list is always moving. And if you asked her whether she rests, of course she will say yes, I do rest. She has a Sabbath even on her calendar. She takes Sundays off. She goes to bed at a reasonable hour most nights. But this woman, even in the Sabbath, is still planning. On Sundays, where she's still thinking through the week, she doesn't let her mind rest. In her sleep, she's not actually switching off. So true that her body is horizontal, but her mind never stops moving. She calls it discipline. Signature marker 2. She stops when the work stops. The work never stops. Her rest is contingent on a lot of things. She will rest when she finishes the projects. She will rest after the season is over. She will rest when the children are older, when the ministry is stable, when the business reaches the next level. But guess what? Her projects keep coming because they never end. Her seasons keep shifting. The children grow and then the next thing arrives. The rest is always one milestone away. The rest is always a reward for a finish line that keeps on moving. Signature marker 3. Her body knows before she does. The rhythm fracture is not invisible. It actually leaves evidence. You can tell. You can feel it. The energy crashes in the afternoon. The headaches that are not quite headaches. The low-level anxiety that just lives below the surface and does not have a clear cause. The sleep that is technically adequate but leaves her tired anyway. The way a small additional demand on her time can feel so heavy. The way she can be in a room full of people and still feel a particular kind of alone. Her body has been sending her the signal for years. She's only been managing that signal rather than reading it. Signature marker 4. She confuses motion with momentum. This is the most subtle marker and it's so easy for you to miss it. And in many ways, it is even the most costly. She equates being busy with moving forward. She equates output with alignment. She equates doing more with getting closer. But motion and momentum are not the same thing. Motion is activity. Momentum is activity in the right direction with compounding force behind it. She's been producing motion for a long time, for years. And the momentum she expected from all of that motion has not materialized. And she cannot understand why that is even happening. Because from the outside, it looks like he's building good stuff. And from the inside, it feels like he's running. Motion without rest does not produce momentum. It produces depletion at speed. So let's get into the 5 examination questions for the rhythm fracture. These are not rhetorical, and I need to write your answers down. The gut answer, not the managed one. Question 1, show me the rhythm fracture in your own life. When did you last rest and actually feel rested afterward? Not restored by circumstance, not less tired because there was less to do, but when you actually rested. When did you last feel genuinely restored? Write that down. Give it a date if you can find one. Question 2, cost me. What has the rhythm fracture been costing you? Not in general terms, precisely, specifically, in the last 90 days, in the last 30 days, in the last 1 week. Name one decision you made from exhaustion that you would not have made if you had been resting well. Name one relationship that has received a depleted version of you when it truly deserved your full version. Name one creative output, one piece of vision, one assignment that has not fully emerged because the vessel carrying it is running on empty. Vague costs produce vague healing. Precise costs produce precise closure. Question 3. Protect me. What has the rhythm fracture been protecting? This is a question that a lot of women skip through. The fracture is not only costing you, it's also serving a function in your life. Because when you stay busy, what do you not have to face? When you keep moving, what does the stillness threaten to surface? I need you to write that down. The fracture is not accidental. It formed in your life for a reason. And until you can name what it's been protecting you from, the rest you're building will not hold. Question 4. Serve me. How has the rhythm fracture been serving you? Busyness has a currency. In many of the rooms that you move into, being constantly busy is respected because it signals importance. It signals devotion. It signals commitment. It signals that you are serious about your assignment. The fracture has been giving you something that you may not be willing to give up yet. That sense of respect. What has been staying depleted giving you? What is that genuine rest going to take away from you? Ask yourself that question. Question 5. Limit me. What ceiling has a rhythm fracture been producing in your life? Because you're capable of more than you're currently producing. In fact, you are like most women who are capable of more than they are producing right now. And that gap that you see is not a capacity gap. It is a rhythm gap. You cannot receive what you cannot rest enough to hold. You cannot hear at the level you need to hear when the noise of your own pace is louder than the instruction that you need to follow. The ceiling is not talent. The ceiling is not faith. Is not time. That ceiling that you're experiencing is the rhythm fracture. It is the rhythm of your life. It is the pace of your life. And you cannot grow above your own ceiling. The rhythm fracture does not mean that you're weak. It does not mean that you failed. It does mean that you've been running a pace that was designed for somebody else's assignment. Or that you've been running at a pace that was designed for a season that has already passed. Either way, the pace is no longer serving you. And your body knows it already. The work now is not for you to slow down. The work is to stop calling depletion discipline. So I invite you to name the fracture, count the cost, and build the rhythm from the foundation of what you've been designed to actually carry. That is the true work. And the work begins with the fracture audit. If you've not yet taken the fracture audit before, let me invite you to take it. It's 15 minutes, it's free, and you can get it at shiftintolegacy.com/audits. It will show you which fractures are loudest right now in your life and give you the precise language you need to start the work. And if you are ready to go deeper, the Shift Intensive is a 4-week diagnostic program where we do this work in full. And we are now enrolling at shiftintolegacy.com/shiftintensive. And we have our free community, the Shift Lounge, where we talk about this every single week. You can join us at shiftintolegacy.com/lounge. In episode 5, we'll talk about the community fracture. This woman is lonely at the level of her assignment. So stay close, and I will see you in the next episode.